So I think this is a required acumen for nurse leaders today to understand innovation, to understand the concepts of human-centered design, to think about how nurses as individuals and as a collective have incredible power to really transform healthcare and patient care.
Hello, everyone. I'm Angela Rosa DiDonato.
And I'm Marian Leary.
And you're listening to Amplify Nursing, a Penn Nursing podcast supported by the Pinola Fund for Innovation in Nursing.
Amplify Nursing features nurses who are leading the way in science, policy, and innovation.
Our guests defy stereotypes, define practice, and disrupt convention.
We highlight the breadth and depth of nursing influence on society by amplifying nurses who are pushing boundaries and breaking down barriers to build a new paradigm. Hello, Angela.
Hello, Marian. How are you?
I am great. We are here at the 2024 Summer Innovation Institute at University of Pennsylvania School of Nursing, and we are doing our second live podcast episode from the Summer Innovation Institute. We did this last year, and it was super fun, and we thought last night we should do it again.
Yeah, I think it's really, really cool, this whole concept of building and supporting and innovating in nursing. And last year we had a lot of really great commentary from the leaders that we brought from across the country here to really kind of build out their ideas.
Yeah, and I'll just set the stage. Do you mind holding the mic? No. I'll just set the stage a little bit with the Summer Innovation Institute is a 5-day summer intensive where we bring together various groups of individuals to learn about human-centered design, health equity, entrepreneurship. So that includes our Nurse Innovation Fellows, supported by Johnson & Johnson and powered by Penn Nursing and the Wharton School. That includes ADOS, which is our LGBTQ Social Innovation Lab, and also a group called Penn AI Tech. So those three groups have the majority of folks who are attending the 5-day Summer Innovation Institute, but we also have a couple people from Penn Medicine and CHOP who are here with us as well. And so it's been a great way to network, interact, and learn from each other and from also the experts who are lecturing at the Institute.
So why don't we start with what brought all of you to the Innovation Institute? Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle Collins from Christiana Care. I think we needed some additional context and resourcing. We launched a Center for Nursing Innovation in January of 23 and have had events and whatnot with our nurses, but we need to do so much more. So for us, applying to the Institute, demonstrating engagement of our leadership, us learning an awful lot. I'm here with Danielle Weber, our Chief Nurse Executive, and I think it's going to help us build a much stronger foundation upon what we've already done within the center, which has been wonderful.
So to that point, Michelle, I guess I'm wondering, and from any of the nurse leaders in the room, this is a lot of time and a lot of work outside of your already busy schedules. What value do you think this is going to have for you as leaders, but also for your institutions and your staff? And I will say I did not mention that the Nurse Innovation Fellowship Program is made up of chief nursing officers and senior nurse leaders from around the country. And purposefully, we really do want to work with you all to be able to show you the power and value of innovation so that you can then go back to your institutions and spread the good word. But we'd love to hear from you why you thought that was important. And I don't know if you want to respond or if there's anybody else who'd like to.
This is Danielle Weber from Christiana Care. I'm the Chief Nurse Executive there. And I think to Michelle's point, as a leader in the system, I ask nurses, I ask caregivers, what are the issues that you're facing on a day-to-day basis? And they don't always come to us with solutions. And I think for me, coming to this, it gives me the tools to help them with those solutions and start with an idea and think about the end user. And I think we have a lot of opportunity when it comes to engaging our caregivers, our nursing caregivers, to solve the problems and think about it differently.
So I think that you bring up a really good point that typically in my clinical practice, I'm still very active clinically, people have a lot of ideas for solutions and they don't have the confidence or sometimes the training or sometimes even the trajectory to get those things done, right? Because we all know if you don't go to the right people, it's just not going to go anywhere. For example, even just for the podcast idea, it was something that I kind of talked about with a couple different people in the School of Nursing. And they were like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. But it never got anywhere until I got to Marion, right? And she had the platform and the ability to say, yeah, we can definitely do this and we can make it work. And that's just a small thing.
I'm where good ideas go to thrive.
There I like that. You should put that on your car.
I don't have a car. Put it on my bike.
There you go. You should put it on your bike helmet. Yeah, but it's true. I think that if you don't have people who are willing to kind of grow your ideas, then they really don't go anywhere. And I think, unfortunately, for a very long time, nursing was never given that voice and that opportunity. So the fact that this room is filled with people who are in a position, who are able to really grow and thrive those ideas, I commend you all for being here. And I think that is telling us that nursing is moving in the direction where we need to go, which is toward the top.
But even more than support, which is so important, it's also, and one of our speakers yesterday brought this up, time away from the bedside, resources to be able to implement an idea, education and mentorship. I think those things are equally as important. And I guess I'd like to hear from others in the room about some of the reasons why they're here and how you think you'll be able to support your staff when you go back to your institutions.
Hi, Darla Fish from Advent Health New Smyrna Beach. One of the reasons that we really wanted to be a part of this is our specific facility that we have right now with Advent Health was a facility that was purchased from another healthcare system. It was an older system that was a community-based hospital. So we have a lot of legacy employees, and I'm talking about 30, 40-year, legacy employees. They're great. The physicians were great physicians, but they have one mindset, and that's all they know. There's been a bit of leadership turnover over the past few years, and we've worked really hard to change the culture, but they still have that legacy thought process. So coming and being a part of the innovation series, helping us to help them learn to think outside the box and see maybe the same outcome, but with an innovative way of making those slight changes and continuing to make that culture change. That was just so exciting to me because, I can help them see things from my vision or the vision of my leader or another leader, but to help them see things in an innovative way through their own eyes, that got me excited about this.
Yeah, I think the power of innovation is being able to experience it. To your point, that's definitely one of the better reasons for being able to do that. Kate is one of our consultants, mentors for this program, and why don't you introduce yourself? And I'd love to hear why you think innovation holds power for nurses in the work that you do.
Well, hello, and it's great to be here. Kate Fitzpatrick, and I'm the System Chief Nurse Executive for Jefferson Health. And, my thoughts on innovation and nursing and how important that is to power nursing leaders is that what I know about nursing and what I know about being a nurse is that we're an incredible brain trust in the healthcare system. And if anybody can figure out the challenges and work through the complexities that patients and caregivers face, it's nurses. And so empowering them and equipping them with knowledge and techniques and skills that really help them drive innovation is what I think the power is of a program like this. And we know from our first cohort, we saw amazing ideas that came to a point of many of them have launched or are about to launch, and just seeing the excitement and the potential behind that is really just incredible. So I think this is a required acumen acumen for nurse leaders today to understand innovation, to understand the concepts of human-centered design, to think about how nurses as individuals and as a collective have incredible power to really transform healthcare and patient care.
So I love that you said that it should be a skill of nurse leaders to know about and to learn innovation, human-centered design. Do you think the majority of nurse leaders understand that or know that, or that the profession is moving towards that?
I think for sure that nurses as a group are amazing problem solvers. I think what I've seen just with the first cohort of the Johnson & Johnson Nurse Innovation Fellowship is that if you put in those nurses' hands techniques and skills about how to do rapid cycle change, how to lead innovation, those problem-solving skills get amplified and get accelerated to a degree that wasn't possible with just what their organic problem-solving skills were. So I think that's the potential, and that's what the power is just modifying, refining this innate skill that I think nurses have as incredible problem solvers, but really putting some nuance around it and some refinement that makes it much more powerful.
Outside of this program, I mean, the goal here is really to amplify and infuse what we're teaching you all around human-centered design, equity-centered design, and leadership so that you take it back to your institutions. But, there's only 20 of you in this cohort and 20 of you in the previous cohort and 4 or 5 million nurses nationally, right? So how do we make sure that new nurses, aspiring nurse leaders, current nurse leaders, learn what you all are learning if they don't get the ability to be in a fellowship like this? From my point of view, it starts at the educational institution. I mean, I personally think we should be teaching every nurse about human-centered design, undergrad through graduate program, in a very systematic way. That doesn't happen in a lot of nursing programs because it's not on the NCLEX, right? So I guess I would love to see how you all, in the new material that you've learned over these past 3 days, how you're thinking about now being able to go back and infuse this new knowledge to your frontline staff and other nurse leaders.
Hi, I'm Beth Faklovic, Associate Chief Nurse Executive for Ambulatory Services at Cook County Health in Chicago. And this has been really exciting for us because as leaders, we see the issues and we see that they're global issues or they're local issues. And so a lot of things that are challenges for us, we see are happening in other states. By attending this fellowship, what we find most exciting is that we're learning the tools, we're learning about empathy, how to engage the team. And we will bring this back to serve as mentors for all of our leaders that are working in our organization. So it's kind of that leading and showing what we've learned, leading by example, and supporting those next generation of leaders, the managers, the directors, to see that process, to understand the process, and to be successful in that process with our support. So we start the ball rolling in our organization, and then we watch and we applaud all of the efforts as it filters to our next generation.
Anthony Esposito, Chief Nursing Officer at St. Joseph Hospital at Catholic Health, Long Island. I just want to piggyback onto that because on top of everything that she mentioned, everybody has a platform, whether you realize it or not, for probably a lot more people than you realize. So far past just the people we work with or the hospitals or the systems we work in, these are things that we have to be talking about all the time and inspire people to be curious. Because once we build that curiosity, that's when people start asking questions. They'll start educating themselves on things like this. And then they come back to us to be those mentors and the support for them to move forward with those curiosities. And we need to get this out to more people.
Hi, Maggie Cunningham, Chief Nursing Informatics Officer at Inova Health System in Northern Virginia. And for me, we're working backwards with the process. We knew that we needed to solve some of nursing's problems and challenges as we came out of the pandemic. And rather than wait for a solution, we brought our nurses together, frontline staff nurses, for 2 days to work on some of our key initiatives. Now we're going back and we're putting some structure into place so that as we move forward with this work, we know the why, we know our process, we understand the empathy that it needs to happen in understanding the nursing's challenges and using them to come up with the solutions, or inviting them to come up with the solutions to help us solve some of those initiatives. My colleagues have all said it here. Our frontline staff nurses are some of the sharpest, the most tech savvy, the most creative that we've ever worked with. And so for me, it's just a reward to have that opportunity to bring them into the fold. And they'll talk to their peers, and they're very tech savvy. That word will spread. And they have a real sense of pride when they are able to contribute to their solutions.
Yeah, I think to both your points, it's the power of understanding and the power of spread and communication, right? So I don't necessarily think all nurse leaders understand what innovation actually means. It's this nebulous term that means a million different things to a million different people, and there's so many other priorities in your hospitals and health systems that giving nurses time to leave the bedside and go innovate and work on an innovation project may not be the priority when you're struggling with so many other seemingly more important priorities. And so you all as leaders now experiencing hopefully the power of innovation and how it can really change your mindset, because I really believe innovation is a mindset. It has less to do with the end product and the solution than it does about learning this systematic way of looking at things differently. Hopefully you can then now go back on social media, at your institutions, op-eds and commentaries and things like that, be able to really express to the profession of nursing why this is important and why it is so much more than the buzzword that people think it is.
And to your point, Marian, I don't know that we have done a really great job of quantifying how much money we waste on processes that are inefficient and that don't work. Because I can guarantee you, as a clinician, for every process that was handed down to me, I have come up with a workaround because it did not work and it did not suit me because nobody asked me my opinion. So, that's what's happening on the front line when you're not investing in letting nurses be innovative. If you let them create the process themselves, you're not going to have it be inefficient. It's going to be really efficient. It has to be, because when you're working on a floor, you're working in an ICU, you need economy of movement. We want to do as little as possible to get the most effect because we all want to get out of work on time. So they're the things that people are thinking about. And when, like I said, when processes get handed down, we just figure out ways to work around them. And then it's like you're wasting money, you're frustrating the team, people are irritated because things aren't going the way that they're supposed to, as opposed to coming up with something that really works really well.
I was wondering if I could find my dissertation, because in there somewhere I say, there is actually data around return on investment when you use the human-centered design methodology as opposed to just creating things without having that sort of systematic input and empathy. But it would take me too long to pull it up and find it. but there are data out there, not specifically from healthcare, but from other industries who've been using human-centered design for much longer than we have.
I was introduced to the human, design principle maybe 10 years ago in a 2-hour class. So now we are really talking about, so the question is, how do we go back and execute? All healthcare leaders, we have background in process improvement. We use the PDSAs. But I think this program really gives us a structure to get the true voice of the staff, frontline staff, as well as engage them into the solution. So I was thinking about this timing is so perfect for us because we just started a Nursing Innovation and Research Center 3 months ago. And while I was sitting the class to really how do you engage those leaders, and our goal is to really bring that structure together so the nurses can put their ideas, as well as we are thinking to create like a nursing innovation at Cook County Health .org so people can send ideas. That tells me I'm being a Peters and the System Chief Nursing Officer for Cook County Health System.
That's a fantastic idea to have set up a site where people can just, shoot their ideas forward, because that's also, again, when we go back and thinking about how a lot of people don't come forward and talk about their ideas because they're not really confident that they're going to be invested in, or, they don't want to be wrong. People don't want to be wrong. And to be able to set something up like that, you could probably capture a lot of really great ideas. Catch me on a good day. I'm like Tom Haverford with the ideas.
Yeah, you are.
I'm Melissa Shemek, the Director of Nursing and Professional Development at Baylor Scott & White in Waco, Texas. And I just wanted to say that I think, you think about the word innovation and how you said, Marion, you said it was like a buzzword, right? And so thinking about getting to be a part of this fellowship and how much nursing has changed. Johnson & Johnson's been around a long time. Certainly nursing's been around a long time, but you think about how 120 something years ago, how much our profession has changed, and just getting to be a part of that. I think what some of our other colleagues sort of alluded to is that it does start with having those conversations and starting to infuse those discussions of the word innovation. What does it mean? It's not necessarily building a toy or some sort of something or machine or equipment or something like that, but there's so much more to it. And I think if we started in the education system and having those opportunities to work with people that think maybe a little bit differently than we do, it's like a very, very powerful to get to do that.
Yeah, and I think to your point, yes, it has to start with our educational foundation, but also once they go to work, having exposures to and offerings of these types of human-centered design and innovation, workshops, lectures, conferences, etc., also really does improve the willingness of nurses and the application of innovation in the work that they do. So that's really important as well. It has to be all the way through, from education through to the workplace.
Darla Fish, Advent Health New Smyrna Beach again. I think the true value that I've already gotten from this week is being able to tell the story. As nurses, we've talked about it many times already today, that we all have workarounds. We all know that we can fix anything with duct tape and glitter, right? We can make it work. It might work for us, it might work for you, but it might not work across all of our systems. But to be able to tell the story and be a part of that human-centered, development and innovative process, it's on our shoulders now to be able to go back and show our value. If you work for a large organization, you probably have an innovative team. Are there nurses on it? Probably not. But that's our story that we can go back and tell, because I think we all have it within us. We just don't have that storyboard. And that's what we're learning from this. And I mean, in the 3 days that we've been here already, I see such a value in that. And, I'm thinking and talking with my partner over there and how we can take that back. I have a little forum at our hospital called Dishing with Darla, which, that we talk to our nurses. And I'm thinking, I loved the Crazy 8 option that we had this morning. Don't let me give you your ideas. You give me your ideas. And I'm the voice. I can help you make them happen. But you all have it within you, and throw away that duct tape and glitter. It doesn't really work, but use your own, your own power within you. And I think that's what we can all take home as leaders.
That is a great place to wrap up, because we're just at 25 minutes. So thank you all for indulging us on this live podcast recording of the Amplify Nursing podcast. Please go back to your institutions and spread the good word of innovation and go innovate. Thank you all.
Amplify Nursing is hosted by Dr. Angela Rosa DiDonato and Marion Leary, and produced by the University of Pennsylvania School of Nursing, with special thanks to Jonathan Zhu for his assistance. Music for the podcast was created by Harper Leary. The podcast is made possible by the Krista and Rich Pinola Fund for Innovation in Nursing.
Follow us on Twitter at Penn Nursing. Until next time, keep pushing over, under, around, and through. We want to thank you for listening to the Amplify Nursing podcast and remind you to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you enjoy your podcast listening. And if you can do us a solid,
please rate and review us as well. It will go a long way in amplifying our episodes.